in the ICT department of the reflector, and also to give people the chance to break in if they want to. So first of all, I think we go to the repeated Golf Bravo 7 Hotel X-ray, and I think Mike 0 Alpha India Alpha is there. So go ahead, Paul. Mike 0 Alpha India Alpha, the group 08 November Tango. Nothing heard from Paul. Anyone else on GB7 Hotel X-ray? Nothing heard. So it will be a small net this evening, I think. Fraser sent a message on WhatsApp that he is at a party, enjoying himself, which is very good, of course. And I think Bob in the States is still involved in the towing and the mooring of the New Jersey battleship there. So maybe he will be coming online here a little bit later. So let's go to the next one. Call for India Whiskey Oscar, Nick, the group 08 November Tango.
Yes, 018 November Tango G4IWA returning, and good to see people here this evening. And we are live, of course, streaming on YouTube. So good evening to those on YouTube, including Laura, MM7BFL, who's listening into the net from YouTube this evening. I won't say much on my first over, other than to say I went out briefly this afternoon to try out some portable work on a hill very close to my location here in the Southern Pennines, and it was extremely cold. I made 3 QSOs, one of whom was with Ken, operating as EA5/G4 VZV on 20 meters. Neither of us were very strong, but we made the QSO, and I had a couple of others on 40 as well, both into Spain and into elsewhere in the West Midlands in England. But I gave up very quickly. The wind was very strong and it was very cold, so I came back home for a warm. ON8NT G4IWO.
Okay, Roger, thank you for that. Nick, very good. I read about that on the WhatsApp app, and I must say there was a little trouble opening this afternoon and this morning in the direction of France and a little bit in the direction of the United Kingdom. So, but not much activity, unfortunately. But anyway, let's go to Adrian, Golf 6, Mexico, Juliet, Quebec, I think. 08 November Tango. Go ahead, Adrian.
Oh, 08 November Tango, 6 MJQ, Skelmerthorpe, West Yorkshire. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Jeff. Well, I've seen a Unix on the hill. I'm just waiting for the weather to improve, to be honest. It was good on Monday, quite sunny on Monday, and it got up to about 12, 15 degrees. But then it's been sort of downhill since. Yesterday was really murky. Misty mornings and cold. Yeah, and well, what have I been doing? Almost nothing on HF, if I'm honest. But I've this week finished setting up a WiseX node, and I got my revised IDs come through from Yaesu today, email. so it no longer says Leicester, it says Huddersfield. So, and I've moved the software onto a little Windows 10 tablet with a removable keyboard, so it can be left on and not taking up time on my main laptop that I use for when I do bits of work and what have you, and various other activities. Yeah, interesting. Because of discomfort with the condition I've got, I tend to get up about 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm usually on the Northwest Fusion group at 7 o'clock for the squirrel net. And I don't know how they do it. Nick, you said you're streaming on YouTube. Well, our squirrel net is streamed on Amazon devices on the internet, so Google devices, Amazon devices. Certainly in the Northwest, you can ask Alexa to stream the Squirrel Net, Northwest Fusion Group Squirrel Net, and we have quite a few people. I think it was about 13 people joined the net today, and quite a large number. Just taking a clip there. A large number listening in on Fusion, on WiseX. No, quite a few with hotspots, but there's the core members, which I'm considered one now since Christmas, are on mainly on WiseX proper, and I have been after a few setup problems which Jeff up in Freckleton helped me with. So yeah, that's what I've been doing right now. So back to you, Jeff. ON8 November Tango Golf 6 Mike Juliet Quebec.
Golf 6 Mike Juliet Quebec. ON8 November Tango. Okido, Adrian, you are quite busy, I think. Very interesting. Just curious if that note that you have set up, if that is something that is accessible to everyone, or if that is only for your own personal use. That might be interesting. And also a very good evening to everyone on YouTube and to Laura in particular. Laura, I sent you some WinLink messages, or I forwarded some WinLink messages to you. I hope they have arrived in good order there. Okido. Let's give the microphone to Mike Zero Romeo Oscar Lima. Andrew, go ahead, Andrew, from the group. This is ON8 November Tango.
Yeah, ON8 November Tango in the groups M0RO. Well, good evening, everyone. I think there's a few on the net tonight. I hope everyone is well. I'll make the first one short so we can get through to everyone. I give my apologies from, or Dave sent his apologies. G6LSN, he's unable to join us on the net tonight. So I will make a note of that one, and I'll make this one a quick one first of all, and pass it back to you, Jeff. I'll go through a little bit more detail on the next one. So ON8 November Tango in the group M0ROL.
Okay, Roger. M0 Romeo Oscar Lima, the group ON8 November Tango, and thank you very much about the apologies for Golf 6 Zulu Sierra November. Okido. And I see that Bob has already logged in, so we will put you after Mike and Adriana, Bob. So first of all, to Northern Germany, Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey and Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango. Go ahead, Mike and Adriana, for ON8 November Tango in the group.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Very good evening, everybody. Nice to hear you all again. To go right into the middle of things, it's been a busy week for myself anyway on CW, but more about that in the next over. First of all, I got the recommended adapter from M10 to 3/8 inch for my Chinese telescope area, and got it from AliExpress, recommended by Nick. And it's okay. It's nice and working and doing what it should. And so I'm very glad about that, and can go outside now with the M1 ECC coil and Chinese telescopic antenna on top, and looking forward to do something with it this weekend. But of course, the weather prediction for the weekend is rainy, even some thunderstorms in northern Germany. Well, let's wait and see. Sometimes they are wrong, and sometimes they are astonishingly correct with their predictions, and I'm waiting for reality to break in. Okay, that's it. Therefore, FT8, there was interesting station on the air. I worked it on FT8. Romeo India 0 Sierra Papa, that's Oleg, on board a Russian icebreaker in the North Polar Mare, North Polar Sea, sorry. And at this moment he's stationed north of Spitsbergen or Svalbard. So that's the group of islands north of Norway, and the position of the ship is between this group of islands and the North Pole, and it's very interesting to work from there. Albeit in northern Germany, it's not so a problem to cover this distance, of course, but it's interesting nevertheless. So I'll pass the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yeah, this is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Very good evening to all of you. And what I can report from here, I think you hear it, my cold is not quite better up until now. A little bit has changed, but it's not okay. So I can't report much radio-wise on SSB, but later on I can report a little bit on CW. And the weather here in northern Germany is yes, it's not quite warm, but today there has been about 10 to 11 degrees centigrade and a little bit cloudy. And during the last few days, the weather has been much better, but we haven't been so much outside as we wanted because of our cold there, but we'll hope for the best for the next weeks. So this is for the first report from here. I hand the microphone to Oscar November 8 November Tango for the group.
Roger, Michael Adriana, Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey and Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango from 8 November Tango in the group. And okay about the cold, which is much better. And about the weather, well, we are expecting the same weather over the weekend, rain, thunderstorms probably, and some more wind. So that will be more or less the same, I think. And interesting about the icebreaker, that's a maritime mobile station, always fun to work such stations. And okay, Mike and Adriana, about your CW adventures, we will probably hear more in the next over. Then over to in the States, November 4 X-ray Alpha Tango. Curious how the mooring of the New Jersey battleship went today. I hope everything went well, Bob. November 4 X-ray Alpha Tango, the group, 8 November Tango.
November 8, November Tango, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. I spent my whole day watching the festivities. The ship moored just before I logged in here. It moored at Paulsboro, New Jersey, to pick up water, and the number of gallons of ballast is tremendous. They're going to start putting the ballast on board tomorrow, and they expect to be at the Philadelphia Navy, the old Philadelphia Navy Yard, on the 27th of March at around 4 p.m. local time. So that would be 8 p.m. Zulu. They did stream the whole festivities today. Of course, they had all the dignitaries there from the state, including the governor, and they started their speeches right about on time at 11 this morning. And at 12:10, the ship was pulled away by tugboats, and the tugboats took down the river at about 5 miles an hour. And it just docked, like I said, just as I logged in. It had just arrived at Paulsboro, New Jersey. The cruise went without event. Everything went according to schedule. So that was good. I missed everyone on the net, so I don't know who's been on. So good evening to everyone that's on, and if there are any people on like me in the afternoon, that's fine. It's been very cold here. It was -2 degrees Celsius when I came into the shack this morning, and right now it's 6 Celsius and very windy. So there we go. Back to you, Jeff. ON8NT, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango.
November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango from ON8 November Tango. The group, very nice. Thank you, Bob. And to hear that everything went well. I missed that because I had some other issues to deal with this afternoon and in the former evening. And sorry to hear that the weather is so cold. I saw the television, I think it was in Washington, D.C., that they had 22, 23 degrees, and the blossoms were all there, which is something which happens every year. A lot of tourists are coming to look to that. So quite a different temperature from the different places there in the United States. But okay, let's go to Golf Bravo 7 Hotel X-Ray and see if Paul wants to come in. Mike 0 Alpha India Alpha. Paul, do you want to come in from ON8 November Tango with the group? Nothing heard from Paul. Is there anyone else on the Golf Bravo 7 Hotel X-Ray who wants to join the net? Okay, nothing heard. Nick, up to you again. Golf 4, India Whiskey Oscar, the group. ON8 November Tango. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so ON8 November Tango from G4IWO. Good evening to everyone who's joined so far this evening. Nice to hear everyone. And just a couple of comments to pick up on what people were saying there. AD, you are right. It's still too cold. I learned my lesson this afternoon and had to come indoors after 3 QSOs and coming back down and putting everything away. And had the fire on in the front room to get myself warm. Just before I forget, Stephen, G0NIF has popped in on the YouTube channel to say good evening to everybody. So good evening to Stephen. And of course, a very good evening and welcome to all those who listen to the net later on during the week. We're still getting large numbers of people listening to the digital net on the YouTube channel, and our subscribers keep increasing every single day. So thank you for your support, and I hope you enjoy what we're doing. And do come in and leave us a message, or even send us a message during the week, and I can read it out to the net. And to Adriana, I'm very, very sorry to hear that you've still got that awful cold. By coincidence, there was a discussion on one of the TV channels this morning in the UK about the prevalence of colds at the moment because of the reduced immunity we've all got from infections, having been locked down for the period we were during the COVID experience. And of course, we're now feeling it. And one of the most common ones they were discussing is what's been dubbed the 100-day cold, respiratory and cold type infection, which seems to be lasting as long as 100 days, which is pretty dreadful. And to Mike, I'm very pleased you got those adapters. Yeah, they absolutely perfect, aren't they? Do the job exactly, and I'm sure you'll be looking forward to going out, trying the new coil and the AliExpress 5 meter or so aluminium, the aluminium telescopic mast there, Mike. But unfortunately, as we've all said, portable work does require some decent weather, and we haven't got it at the moment. And to Bob, I'm very pleased that you were able to watch today the launch of the boat as it makes its way off to dock for the work that's going to be done, and must have been a pretty interesting time to watch that today. So on the next over, Jeff, I'll give an update on the upcoming speakers we've got. We've got a whole range of really interesting speakers coming up over the next 2 or 3 months, and I'm sure there's something in there again for everybody. So back to you, Jeff. ON8NT in the group, G4IWO.
G4IWO, ONA November, Tango, and the group.
November Tango G6OJQ. Currently, it's Yaesu FT2D running in personal node PND configuration. You started up in a different way, and with a suitably purchased cable connected to a computer and hence onto the internet. You run the WiseX software on the computer, and that gives you all the information. I guess everything is based around a server in Japan. And you open up the software and you can see all the nodes and rooms, etc., do searches and what have you. And so with the FT2D, that's working like a hotspot with the computer. So that's purely locally at the moment. So I use the FT70D anywhere in the house. And if I turn the power up on the 2D, I can get up. I assume I've got to test it. I could get in from the village, further range. Because right now, my call sign suffix is as ND as node. But if I change it to GW, gateway, and then put a big aerial on, And as long as I take precautions and not to interfere with anybody else, I can set up a local gateway so people locally could use it as per a gateway, come repeater, to actually get into the WiseX system. So if that answers your question, but a lot of people do join with a hotspot of some sort, whatever one they choose to use, and a WiseF radio, digital radio, and come in via a WiseF reflector. So if anybody's interested, just look it up. I won't say which one it is right now, but anybody interested, it's easily found. Yeah, so that's that. I have actually been working FT8 quite successfully, standalone on the Lego X6100, and that's using the Russian software, and occasionally running that, but I really need to get back onto HF. I really like to get up, even if the weather doesn't improve, then go out mobile. I have got a mobile antenna, which has got a tap coil on it, so I can tune it up for whatever band, anywhere between 80 and 6 meters, and go out on high ground and have a go with it. Yeah, Bob, very interested in the New Jersey and its move. I was wondering if are there any videos on YouTube or photos that could go on WhatsApp? Sounds fantastic, and I'm so glad you had such a successful morning, day. It's still fairly early afternoon, isn't it, with you guys over there now? But that sounds great, and certainly colds and snuffles, we've had them all. You're absolutely right there, Nick. So many people suffering, within our family as well up here. Right, won't hold it any longer. Over to you, Jeff. ON8, November Tango from Golf 6 Mike Juliet, Quebec.
Golf 6 Mike Juliet, Quebec. Okay, Adrian, thank you very much for the explanation about the node. That's more clearly now. I can, with the open spot 4 here, I can transcode to YSF or to DMR if I want to. So I was just curious if that be something that I could access also, but nevertheless, you properly there on a local room or something like that, then interesting to have the possibility to be active around your house also. And okay, about the 6100, that's very interesting that that's working really. I'm just wondering, just another question, Adrian. I'm just wondering if you can connect a mouse. If you can connect the mouse via Bluetooth or wire or whatever, which would probably make it easier to navigate the FT8 screen on that small screen actually on the 6100. Nevertheless, and interesting about the stroke mobile activity. That's if you are doing that, just give a short a message on WhatsApp, and we probably try to get you to get a connection to you if I'm available. Adrian, beautiful. Okie-doke. Over to Andrew. Mike 0, Romeo Oscar Lima, the group over 8 November Tango. Go ahead, Andrew.
ON8 November Tango in the group. This is M0ROL. well, lots of interesting activities going on with everyone on the radio. I have to say that I've had a fairly quiet week again, although I did venture into Denby Dale, the country. I went up to Stockport on Sunday, and on Monday and Tuesday I'd set out to venture up either Black Hill or Kinder with the radio to do some soda, but the cloud base looked just a little bit too low, and I think I chickened out really. I think you need a fairly nice day to be at the top there. So both days I ended up going to Lyme Park and going for quite a nice long walk around the hills from there. There was a soda point not far from there, but I didn't get up there anyway. I left everything in the car, but I'll be going up there again shortly, and hopefully we'll get up to Kinder to see what I can do. It's a place where I try and get up there at least once a year, and let's wait for slightly better weather on that one. So I had planned to use the KX3, the NFED half wave, at or light. I'm still looking to try and reduce the weight even more, but we'll see what happens on that one. And the second thing that I did on Sunday morning before driving up to Stockport, we had a local Raynet event. This is the Bristol and Somerset Raynet group. We were helping out on the Big Cheese run, which is the Somerset version of a fell run over the Mendips. It was not the best of weather. It was so muddy. We had a lot of rain the night before, and so I feel sorry for those that were running. I plan to test out a repeater that I set up using the 80578. I wanted to see whether I could use that as a mobile base for the car, so when I wandered around, I could still get good coverage back to the control points. But that failed miserably, and I think what happened is that I tried to make it a little bit too secure by putting DCS codes on both inbound and outbound on the 70 cents channel that I was using. So I've just reconfigured it and tested it again. It all seemed to work. So ready for next time. But these little NHL 578s make it quite easy to set up a repeater, albeit with the licensing conditions. We have to stay at 5 watts or below, but equally so that is enough to do what I want to do. So that was the extent of my radio. So hopefully in a few weeks' time I get back up to the Peak District and see whether we can make a contact up there. So back to you, Jeff. Owen 8 November Tango in the group. This is M0ROL.
M0ROL. The group Owen 8 November Tango. Yeah, okay. Andrew, interesting about Raynet and about that repeater. I think I have a small HD here from Waxen, which is able to do the same, but I have never used it in that way. That brings some inspiration for the future. I think that's interesting. That's something I should try, Andrew. And okay, about your attempts there to do some soda and so on. I think this is something I'm definitely also will going to do in the coming weeks. We don't have sodas here. The country is very flat, but anyway, we have castles. We can do castles on the air. We can do fauna and flora. We can do bunkers. We can do all kinds of other things. Now back to northern Germany. Delta Lima 1, Bravo Juliet Whiskey, and Delta Lima 8, Bravo Delta Tango. The group for Owen 8 November Tango. Go ahead.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Regarding what I said in the last over, my CW activities this week. It was quite rewarding. I had a contact into South Korea and Puerto Rico, Israel, and the east coast of the US, and very nice, but usually chaotic QSO with Japan, JR3JFZ. That was very nice and a real long QSO, but as always, I've got a lot of issues in my Morse code. The same in receiving as in transmitting. It's always an adventure for the other side, I fear. But nevertheless, it was okay. But the absolute highlight of the week for me was the second contact. I've had a contact 2 months ago on 20 meters with Zulu Lima 3 X-ray Delta Juliet Brian of the South Island of New Zealand, and got a QSL card from him. And I had another CW contact on 20 meters in the morning with him now, and it was a little bit difficult because of the conditions. The conditions are always up and down, and the let me call it the tone of the transmission changes every few seconds, and this makes it a little bit difficult to read the signs and distorts the own signs with time transmitting. But nevertheless, it was okay. And he sent me an email later on asking about my landline telephone number. I gave it to him, and he called me on the telephone. It made a nice long chat via the telephone about the conditions and about the situation from New Zealand into other countries that are transmitting, as he said, the which I called exotic stations from the South Seas and the Antarctic, and so they are quite like local connections for the people in New Zealand there. So it's a little bit to be jealous about, but nevertheless, that was very interesting, and it just made not only my day, but I think my week. So that was very nice, and yeah. And now I pass the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yeah, this is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Yes, first of all, many greetings to all our listeners, the YouTube channel, especially to Laura and to Stephen. Very good evening to them. And yes, Nick, thank you very much for your good wishes there for me. Yes, I went to the doctor a few days ago, and he told me that the same phenomenon as you mentioned is also here in Germany, that people who are quite fit and sportsmen and so on have problems to get rid of their colds. Yes, and Bob, yes, congratulations to the works at the battleship. It's very good to hear that it's so successful. And yes, during this week, I only tried to improve a little bit in the CW business, and today I made some experiments with the Ragokov antenna and the USDX here, and it was quite interesting. The conditions are not so good on 20 meters, but in the evening I heard a ZS6 station here, quite loud and clear. But the conditions are not stable, so it wasn't able to work yet. But I made a good QSO in CW and QRS, which went quite well. with a Slovenian station. And I think at the moment, for me, it's a great success of the QSO went quite well. It's not a matter of distance, but a matter of that it works quite good. And yes, I saw on Facebook a note about a new matching unit, which might be quite well with the USDX. It's called the Z-Match. It comes from China, and it doesn't cost much. I think about 30 pounds or so. And I ordered one from AliExpress, and it will last about 2 weeks to come here, to arrive. And it's quite small and handy, and yes, I'll do some experiments with this when it comes. So that's all from here at the moment. So I have the microphone to Oscar November 8, November Tango for the group.
Okay, Mike and Adriana, Delta Lima 1 Bravo, Julie Whiskey and Delta Lima 8 Bravo, Delta Tango, fine copy on you, no problem at all. And congratulations, Mike, on your contact there with South Korea, Japan, and New Zealand, and the telephone call from New Zealand. That's really nice. That's really fascinating. And okay, Adriana, about your CW experiences there with the Rubikov antenna and with the old APU. I think that much I heard about it before. I think one of the English small companies there, of which I forgot the name, had that as a kit. Sold that as a kit. I forgot the name of that company, but I know they had it as a kit. Quite an interesting design. I see Fraser has joined in. I will let you in, Fraser, after Bob from the States. So first of all, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. The group, go ahead.
Oscar, November 8, November Tango in the group, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. I'm scribbling all over this page, but I think I can read most of it. First of all, while the ship is in dry dock, they're going to have at least 17 under the ship tours, and they went out and asked for volunteers to follow the group just to make sure no one sneaks off while they're under there. They've already told me that I'm not allowed to be a volunteer because there are 50 steps to get down into the dry dock and then 150 to get out, and they're afraid they would have to carry me out. So they don't want me to volunteer for that. Adrian, you asked a question about the videos about the ship. If you go on to YouTube and you put in Battleship New Jersey as a search, it'll give you all sorts of things. They put on a video every night, 5 nights a week at least. They put on a video, and at least twice a week the curator Ryan puts on a nice long video. Today they had streaming from 11 o'clock this morning until when I came on the net this afternoon. We streamed the whole voyage today. Of course, at 5 miles an hour or 4 knots or so, it took all day to get from Camden to Ballsboro. But if you go onto YouTube, and also they have a Facebook group, which I presume you could join. I haven't used Facebook in a while, but I'm sure that they'll let anyone join. On CODA, yesterday they made the change to the iOS standard, so we're no longer called K states like we were before our parks here. Now we're called U.S. parks, which is a good change, I think. We're going by the ISO standard. And yesterday I was able to work Tim, Golfa 5, Tango Mike from South Madison Park. That that was a nice addition to my collection. And Mike and Adrian, both of you are talking CW. I keep listening and hoping that I'll hear you. And it's going to either be 140 or 15, I would presume, and maybe even 10, because 10 seems to be opening up recently. So one of these days, maybe we'll be able to have a CW contact. Other than that, there was a fire again the other day, and it has affected the band today, up and down. They were this morning, for instance. Let's see if I got everything. I think, well, that C-Match sounds interesting too. I'd like to learn more about that. I'll look it up on the internet. And with that, back to you, Jeff. Oscar November 8, November Tango, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango.
Roger Bob, fine business, a fine copy. Okay about the ride up there. And okay about your Volta adventures, very interesting. And nice word G5TM, Tim, which has a very interesting YouTube channel actually. And I think he will be one of the upcoming speakers in our Zoom sessions on the Wednesday evening. So probably Nick will have more news on that. So let's go to Fraser. Fraser, I hope your party went very well. And nice that you still managed to get here on the net. Oscar Zulu 1, Juliet Kilo uniform, the Grupo in 8 November Tango. Go ahead, Fraser.
Okay, thank you for letting me in, Joseph. And yeah, I'm here. We had a long session earlier on. Just a quick fill everybody in. I haven't been all the way around, so I don't know everything. So I've been listening to Adriana and Eric, and also Bob there. Great that the boat's on the move, Bob. And I missed the lunchtime net today because I've been painting and decorating. We run a better breakfast here, and it needs to be tickled up because we've had a lot of soot and water into the room because we had a chimney that was leaking. We have a thatch roof, and unfortunately the water got down inside the loft and then decided to come down the room as well. So we had a lovely black mess at one point. That's almost finished now, so we're expecting guests on Sunday. So the clock is ticking, so that's why I've been rather busy today. Great to, as I said, to hear the ships on the move. I haven't seen anything of it yet. I'll look at YouTube later on. I know about going down into the dock, Bob, due to the fact that I was in the Royal Navy and we dry docked many times, and down into the dock is a long, long way, and up. With a battleship, it's probably further, because it's a deeper dock, whereas I was on frigates and assault ships. And okay, they're a long way, but not probably as far as you have to go. Other than that, really and truly, the reason I'm late is the fact that we have something called Mad Club, which is Food Club in English. And from September to Easter, we have it every week, every Thursday, and about between 50 and sort of 40, 50, 60 people come along, depending on who's cooking and what the meal is. And we have about 8 chefs, and they produce some wonderful things. But this evening they went to town. We had starter, main course, and a dessert. So wine and pork wine, pork wine with it as well. So it's been quite a mammoth thing. And we're expected to clear up afterwards as well. So that's why it's taken a long time. Anyway, good evening to everybody. I think Kim, Bob, Nick, Adrian, Andrew, and Eric and Andriana. Good evening to everybody. So back to you, Mr. Chair, ON8 NT, OZ1JKU.
Fine business, Fraser. By the way, the name is Jeff, Juliet Echo Foxtrot, no problem. Oscar Zulu 1, Juliet Kilo uniform, the Grupo in 8 November Tango, and very interesting about the food club there. I don't know if that is a local tradition. It must be, because I know the Danish really enjoy being together with a glass of wine or beer and a good meal. That's absolutely true. Okie-do. Let's start the last round of the net, and we go to Nick, call 4, India Whiskey Oscar, the group, I think you have some announcements to make, Nick. Go ahead from 08 November then.
Yeah, ON8 November Tango in the Group G4IWO. Yeah, interesting stuff. And Fraser, that sounds a lovely local tradition there. So sounds like you had a lovely evening. On just a couple of points before I go through some of the upcoming speakers. The Z match, the small Z match, is made in the UK as a kit by the company's called Kanga Kits, Kilo Alpha November Golf Alpha Kanga Kits, and they produce this small. They call it the Trans Match. The Z match is usually made with two sets of tunable capacitors, and the Trans Match is a slightly cut down version of the old design, which has been around for many decades. The Z Match antenna, everyone used to build them many years ago, but the Kanga one is also, Adriana, very small. The reason why it's small, of course, is it's got these tiny little capacitors in it, which are only rated for a maximum of 10 watts, but still beautiful for QRP work. So I'm sure you'll have fun with yours. And just before bringing up on the club news, I wanted to say that I've been playing with RM Noise during the week, and it works pretty well. Although what I've discovered over the last few days is that, particularly listening to it on CW, all kinds of little birdies come up, and when you're listening to CW, to hear little notes come up is slightly distracts from the CW, but it does work. And I used it a couple of nights ago, a bit like Adriana. 20 meters sounded dead, but I called CQ and had one or two Europeans, and then out of the blue was called by a VK station, and we had a good QSO, but he was quite low down in the noise. So I put the audio through the RM Noise, and it definitely improved it and made it better to listen to. So it's definitely worth continuing to play with, I think, as a device. And in terms of upcoming speakers, yes, you're quite right. Tim, Golf 5 Tango Mike, is coming along to the club. He wrote an article in Ragcom about a 40-meter vertical, which is a cut down version of the 40-meter dipole with inductor in it, and he's got the measurements for making the inductor, and played around with it, and wrote an article explaining the pros and cons of the antenna for portable work, mainly all on the positive side. So he's coming along, but unfortunately he's had to put me off for a few months because of personal reasons and stuff he's got going on at home. So that might not be till later on in the summer that we get him. We've got Anthony Luska coming back, K8ZT, to talk about the 10 worst antennas for HF, which will be interesting to get his spin on that. We've got another speaker from the US, Harold WJ1B, who's going to talk about parks on the air, and specifically poacher hunting. We've got a speaker from the UK on the 150th anniversary of the birth of Marconi, and he's going to talk about Poldhu and the first contact across the Atlantic Ocean there, and that actually is taking place the day before Marconi's birthday. So Marconi's 150th anniversary is the 25th of April. That meeting is going to be on the 24th. We've got another speaker on getting the most out of PSK Reporter, and we've got another one on the quality of transmitter outputs and work that's been done on that. It was a feature article over 3 issues in QST over the last few months. So that should be good with the author of that article. And we've also got a YL speaker, Laura, 2E0POY, who's just brought together and the editor of a new book published by the RSGB called The Antenna Notebook. And she's been picking up ideas from across all kinds of magazines and putting them together in one book. So she's going to come and talk about that and her own journey into radio as well. So we've got a fabulous group of speakers coming up. Really looking forward to it. So back to you, Jeff. ON8 November Tango G4IWO.
Goal for India Whiskey Oscar, the group ON8 November Tango. Yeah, thank you. That seems to be a nice lineup that we have there, Nick, for here until the summer. Beautiful. So really looking forward to that, and a great diversity of speakers and teams, which should please everyone, I think. Okay, and okay about the set match. Thank you very much about the clarification about the set match or the trans match. I remember seeing the adverts in Practical Wireless about this set match or trans match, and I think it's indeed a very interesting design. And okay, about the RM noise, well, yeah, I have been testing on 2 meter here on VHF in a frequency modulation, and that worked actually quite well. I really surprised about that. I put a short audio file on the WhatsApp group. I'm really impressed. A station which was hardly understandable was coming through the noise without any problem if you put the program into action. So that's really interesting. I also tested on amplitude modulation on shortwave on broadcast stations. On AM it doesn't work, but if you use single sideband and zero beat station, then it works quite well, I think. Also the music is coming through in quite a nice way. It's not stereo high fidelity, but anyway, it's shortwave, so it's enjoyable. Okie doke. Let's go to Andrew. Adrian first. G6 Mexico Juliet Quebec, the group of 8 November Tango. Go ahead, Adrian.
Oscar November 8 November Tango. Thanks, Jeff. G6MJQ. Yeah, lots of good stuff there on that round, and looking forward to the talks there, Nick. Especially the one on getting the best out of PSK Reporter. I've used that recently, but I'm not sure whether it will actually, if you run FT8, FT4 in auto mode, I wonder if it will keep a log for you, because on the Zygo you can actually run it in auto mode, which I've done, and then I've come back and noticed, there's a German station signing off, etc. And I haven't been able, I can see where I've been detected on PSK Reporter, etc., get the data there, but I don't actually know if it was a QSO. Takes a bit more effort to sort that out. And RM noise, I've tried that briefly. I haven't given it a fair try, but on sideband, the HS sideband, I've tried it. And I thought it sort of made the voice sound a bit or it's my ears, and I prefer to sort of twiddle with the RF gain, back that off and do a few settings and turn noise reduction on and what have you on the radio, but I will rejoin that one. And okay on the videos, Bob. Yes, we'll definitely take a look at that. And to answer your query on the Zygo X6100 and FT8, etc., and running standalone using the R1 CPU software, Russian software, in order to set it up right now, it wouldn't accept my call and locator using the onboard keyboard on the radio. and I went back to him, and he says, put a USB keyboard onto the Zygo, and then you'll be able to do that. So yes, you can use a mouse and a keyboard. Just take a break there. Mouse and a keyboard to operate it. You can operate in auto mode. You can just not use a mouse and keyboard and go in manual mode, and using one of the controls, one of the NFK controls, knobs, encoders, which is a push button. You can go up and down the list. If you're picking up a CQ call, you go up and down the list, go to a CQ call, and then press the button, and then it will take over and run the QSO for you. It will automate the QSO until the finish, and then you can go up the list again, and you can just select to see CQ calls only, so you don't get bombed out like on 40 meters, so much activity. So you don't get bombed out with activity, then you can just look at CQs, go up and down the list with the encoder, select the one you want to return on, and just press the encoder once you're on that CQ item, and let the radio do the rest. So, and then everything is on PSK Reporter, but I'm struggling to get the data out of that. I know you can download data for the last 12 months, etc., but I haven't really exploited that one. So, yeah, with that, I'm going to say 7 threes to everybody, and those on YouTube as well. Good to have you there and taking part from the sidelines by listening. And and thanks for sharing, Jeff. Great, I really enjoyed it tonight. Bit of a rush tea. That's why I'm sometimes not on. You know, if I'm cooking, then it's not very convenient. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. So thanks all. Thanks, Jeff. Oscar November 8, November Tango from Golf 6 Mike Juliet, Quebec in West Yorkshire.
Okay, Roger. Golf 6 Mike Juliet, Quebec. The group of an 8 November Tango. Thank you very much, Adrian, for the explanation there. Very interesting. It's properly practice. I would imagine that the mouse is more practical, but maybe if you get the good handling of the knobs and the push buttons and so on and so on, that might be working okay, because these very rapidly, so you really have to be very quick, I think. Okay, about RM noise, yeah, I think you can do you can do both of the options. You can use RM noise in combination with the RF gain and the noise reduction and so on. It just I think it's experimenting. Just try it. Just try and play with it. I'm quite pleased with it. I'm quite surprised about the results. Okie-doke. Nice to have you there on the net. And let's go to the next one. Big Zero, Romeo Oscar Lima, Andrew, the group. 8 November Tango. Go ahead, Andrew.
M0. 8 November Tango in group M0RL. Well, great conversation tonight. I'm certainly looking forward to the talks, Nick, that you've outlined. I think that's certainly worth looking for. I think we're all looking at antennas and electronic antennas. So I think that could be quite an interesting book. I haven't seen it, though it may be in this month's Radcom, which I've yet to read on that one. So that's a task that I'll do probably later on this week on that one. So I've got nothing really more to add to the radio side on this one, Jeff. So I'd like to thank you for running the net. It's been certainly an evening of interesting things. And Bob, I have looked very briefly at the YouTube live feed of the moving of the ship. It looks quite a brisk breeze blowing at the moment, so I hope they've got a few tugs in place to stop it moving around and going in the wrong direction. So yes, I think it's going to be a long journey up the river. So in the meantime, Jeff, thanks very much again. Wish everyone 73 and catch you next week. So Oscar number 8, November Tango in the group. This is M0ROL.
M0ROL, Group 08 November Tango. Thank you very much, Andrew, for your contribution and for participating here. A real pleasure as always, and hope to catch you next week. And let's go to Northern Germany. Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey and Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango. Go ahead, Michael and Adriana.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey with the final. Yes, first of all, Nick, congratulations that you secured all these very interesting speakers for the Zoom meetings of Denby Dale Amateur Radio Society. That sounds really great. We are looking very much forward to it, and especially it's a great hit, so to speak, to get Tim G5TM on the net. I think he's really famous on YouTube, and I think this will be smashing. Okay, thank you for that. And thank you all of you for your contributions and very interesting topics you shared with us. That was very nice, very interesting, and giving us new thoughts. And yes, Jeff, thank you very much for hosting the net. Bedankt for it. Uitstekend werk. And all of you 73s from Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey, stay safe, take care, and I'm looking forward to meeting you next week. And now passing the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango with the final. And yes, first of all, thank you to all of you for this interesting and informative evening. And yes, Nick, this is very, very interesting information about the lineup for the next weeks and for the next months, and very exceptional speakers there. And we're looking very, very forward to it. And yes, interesting about your experiences with RM Noise, and congrats to your CW contact with VK. Very, very good. And yes, Fraser, good evening to you. And yes, good that the water problems are solved now when the guests are arriving. And yes, I wish you all the best for the tourist season there. And there's one information I want to share, which I read on Facebook. Cam Cameron posted there that he is planning to return to Rocco at the end of April with another team. I don't know if there will be any radio amateur within this team. I don't think so, but he will return to Rock Hall, planned from the 19th up to the 30th of April, to fix all the things he had to leave there when he returned home. And yes, it's I think a very dangerous thing there, especially in April. There will be much storms, I think, and we hope, let's hope for the best that everything will go well. Yes, those are all informations from here. I think Emil won't be in this team because he will be end of April in Kassel here in Germany as a Funktag, and he will have the talk about the expedition to Cameroon. So, Jeff, thank you very much for hosting the net, and yes, all best wishes to all of you. 73 and 88 from Northern Germany. This was Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango, handing the microphone to Oscar November 8 November Tango for the group.
Okay, Delta Lima 1 Bravo, Juliet Whiskey and Delta Lima 8 Bravo, Delta Tango. Thank you very much for your contributions, both of you. Very nice and very interesting about Cameron. Yeah, that's interesting to follow that up. Maybe there will be some activity. I think he is an amateur himself. Yeah, so that might be interesting to see if he is maybe doing some casual operation. You never know. Okie doke. Let's go to the States again. November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango to Group 08 November Tango. Go ahead, Bob.
November.
Okay, Bob, I don't know if you can hear me, but you are kicked out of the net. Bob, give it another try. November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango to Group 08 November Tango.
With the noise in the background, I haven't run into that. But again, I'm still in the experimental stages with it, to be honest with you. Hey, Andrew, the breeze along the Delaware Bay, it's like a funnel there. It goes up from the ocean, goes up to the bay, and then runs from the south to the north up the Delaware River. Usually it's very windy when I go aboard the ship. Today I noticed something different. The wind was coming down the Delaware River from the north, going south towards the ocean. So it was completely the opposite direction of what I'm used to seeing. But it's always windy, or I shouldn't say always, but mostly always windy right there where the ship is. Let's see, do I have anything else? No, I don't see anything else except thank you very much for running the group tonight, Jeff, and I hope to hear you again soon on the air. We've had 73 all, and I'll stand by until we close down.
Okay, so Bob, Roger, I missed a little bit, but anyway, I got most of your message came through, Bob. November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango, the group. 08 November Tango. Thank you also very much, Bob, for your participation. And let's go to Denmark, and I hope, Fraser, yeah, that like Adriana says, the problems with the water there will be soon solved. So the touristic season will open up, I presume, from Easter. So I hope that will work well. Microphone to you, Oscar Zulu 1, Juliet Kilo Uniform 08 November Tango in the group.
Okay, apologies, Jeff. I got your name wrong or didn't mention it, so beg your pardon for that one. 08NT. The program sounds great, indeed, Nick. So that would be great to listen to. Assuming I get time, unfortunately. Doing what I'm doing is a little bit difficult sometimes in the evenings to do various things. But anyway, not to worry. If I can, I will. Just as a sideline, I made a QSO with Ken the other day, the they'd be down in Spain on 15 meters, which was great. The water problem has been sorted because we have a thatch roof, which I think in German is Mitzvah. Maybe that's not very well pronounced, but hopefully you understand me. So it's a straw type of roof, maybe the reeds, for English thatched. And what has happened is the top is not done in the same way as England, where they do this very ornate piece up at the top normally or whatever. Here it's compressed straw, and it lasts for about 8 to 10 years. And we left it a little bit long, and when we had that rain which just came and came and came and came, we got water down inside the chimney. That seeped out of the chimney. The house 300 years old, so the chimney was a little bit porous. That then dripped down onto the loft ceiling and then dripped down into the room. That's all been taken because we've taken the chimney down now. We wanted to do anyway, but it's forced us to do it. We've had the top done, we've had the thatch cleaned, and the house looks pretty good now, so I'm happy with that. So we're okay watertight on the other 2 chimneys we've got in the house, because we have a wood burner, plus we burn tree pellets for our main hot water system. So it's biomass, I think, in some countries, or something like that. Bob, moving the battleship, I should think it has a lot of weeds under it, so I should think it's probably quite a lot of resistance there to push it. So no doubt they've got loads of tugs to do the job and get on with it. I'll look at the YouTube bits and pieces later. Radcomic, or Radcom, as it should be a thing, it doesn't arrive here, unfortunately. I have to keep chasing the RSGB for it, and then they send it via mail, which is a great shame. A lot of money, but they should get the bulk mail system sorted out. There is something wrong with that. I don't see it, and haven't seen it for the last 6 months direct via the bulk mail system, which is a great shame. And it costs them money, so but every month I just phone them up and say, I haven't got my Radcom, can you send it please? And they do, which is a bit of a silly way of doing things, really and truly. But anyway, that's difficult also to talk to anybody in the RSGB at the moment. They've got this automated phone system. You either do it by email or SMS and things like that. You can't actually seem to be able to talk to somebody personally. But anyway, that's the way we're all moving in various directions. Okay, Jeff, I'm waffling on. Thanks very much indeed for being the chair this evening. And Nick, thanks for your information, and we'll catch everybody else next week, no doubt. So 0N8NT, this is 071JKU.
Roger Fraser, Oscar Zulu 1, Juliet Kilo Uniform, 0N8 November Tango, no apologies whatsoever. I also forget names, that's one of my big issues. So I have a paper here with the call signs and the names just to get ready to use them if needed, Fraser, no problem at all. And thank you for the explanation about the problems with the water there. That for a house of 300 years, that must be quite difficult from time to time. And this is the typical way of doing in the Netherlands and Denmark, and I think also in some parts of Germany and the Netherlands and so on. This kind of roofs, this kind of roofs. Okay, I would say 73, Surak Fraser, thank you very much for coming in, despite the festivities going on there in Denmark, and hope to catch you again next week. And I would like to thank everyone for their contribution, also for the people looking on the YouTube channel, especially Laura and Stephen. Thank you very much for joining the net in that way, and I hope to catch you next week. And I now close the net from the Denby Dale Amateur Radio Society, the digital net, for a week, and I would say 73 is all the best, and hope to catch you again. And I will send another picture from space this time. The ISS is putting a faulty battery into the space, which is coming debris, as they call that. So I would say 73 and all the very best from 8 November Tango closing the net. Bye-bye.
8 November Tango and the group G4IWO. Just to say thank you very much, Jeff, for your work in chairing tonight, and a very good evening to those listening live tonight on the YouTube channel, and hope that those who listen to it later during the week on the streamed video on the channel enjoy it as well. So 73s everyone, and see you all next week.
Yeah, 73s all. Thanks for the QSO.